Right? And so that's when I was like, you know what? If I'm 300 pounds, I'm still going to be me on the inside.
Yeah.
If I'm 9,000 pounds or if I'm 20 pounds, like the weight does not change the person that I am.
Yeah.
It just gives somebody something different to look at.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to be happy with the weight if I'm healthy.
And I just remember being so unhappy with like my weight and the way that my body looked. And I just started like obsessing over it, whether it was like, because I told you with the addiction thing, like it's either going to be the super extreme or like just nothing at all.
So I'll say 70% it was girls. 30% it was because it's like, hey, you know, I want to see myself. I want to look in the mirror and see, just be like, damn, okay, you know, I like how my body is structured and stuff.
Hi, welcome to C Notes. I'm Sierra, the founder and host of C Notes. Today's episode, More Than Skin Deep. It's all about self-image in every sense, not just our bodies, but our hair, our makeups, our nails, the filter, the expectations, and the ways we present ourselves to the world. For some, the struggle starts early as kids, comparing ourselves to friends, families, and celebrities. For others, it comes later in life, catching us off guard in ways we never expected. For me, body image wasn't something I really struggled with when I was younger. I've pretty much been me since fourth grade. Same height, same body type. Those weren't the things I spent time worrying about. I'll say I was sexualized at times, but honestly, who wasn't? At least in the environment I grew up in, that was a normal. But the thing about body image issues is that they don't always show up when we expect them to. For me, it wasn't until I was almost 30 years old that I started to feel differently about my body. After I had my daughter, the weight finally stuck. And then here comes COVID. And suddenly my body wasn't the same. And I had to sit with that. And I'm going to say, honestly, in a way, I'm grateful that it happened later in life because I was more mature, more grounded, more equipped to deal with it. But that's not the case for everyone. Some people have spent their whole lives at war with their reflection. And some are just now realizing how much their body image impacts their confidence, their mental health, their overall well-being. For women, the expectations start early. First, we compare ourselves to our mothers, their habits, their insecurities, the way they critique their own bodies. And then we compare ourselves to our friends. Then it's the TV, the magazines, music videos, social media. Everywhere we look, there's a message telling us what we should be, how we should look. And for men, body image issues exist too. But nobody talks about them. Society tells them that they have to be muscular, strong, fit, or at the very least, not insecure. But the truth is, body image struggles don't have a gender. They just show up differently. And it's not just about the weight. It's about the pressure to look put together to fit a certain, I'll say, aesthetic. The hair, the makeup, the filters, the nails. Also, later in life, recently, I struggled with what it meant to be truly authentic. I got caught up in the idea that if I was really embracing myself, I should reject all enhancements. No wigs, no fake nails, no makeup, no waxing, nothing extra. And when I tell you, everything in life is a journey. I never really wore makeup, not because I was against it, but because I already spent enough time getting ready. I be in the bath forever, the shower forever. So the thought of adding that extra step, no thanks. Plus, maybe it's because my mom wasn't a makeup type of woman. She just did lipstick, and lipstick was never my thing. Lip gloss, yes. Maybe eyeliner, but a full face, that never felt like me. I did get my makeup done for special occasions though. And I won't lie, I even bought foundation, concealer, all that good stuff, thinking I'm gonna get into it. But I'm gonna tell y'all, and this relates to self-esteem. I was always a little scared to use it. because I always thought, like, what if I met a guy, or what if I'm on a date and I gave him a hug and boom, foundation on his shirt? I don't know. I feel like I would be embarrassed. And I think that was another part of me that held me back. Now, this may seem off topic, but all of this plays a part in self esteem, because for a long time, I felt like embracing myself fully meant rejecting all enhancements. No waxing, no nails, no wigs, no lashes, just me, raw and unfiltered. So last year, I took a step back after I came back from Bali, and a little bit before Bali. I stopped getting my nails done. I stopped getting waxes. And by the second half of the year, I stopped wearing wigs and lashes, just me. I did get some braids, though in my mind, I felt like it was better than wigs and sew-ins. I was 2 seconds away from locking my hair. But through this process, I learned something that completely shifted my perspective. And I'll tell you exactly what it was right after we hear from some of the guests who have been on their own personal, I'll say, who have been on their own powerful journeys with self-image, self-worth, and self-acceptance, because this conversation is deeper than skin. Let's get into it. Okay, so body images. I feel like I'm just gonna say, when it comes to body images, I feel like a lot of people, I'll say, have some experience with that, honestly, too, no matter how, I'll say, confident or secure they may seem. People have body images. And sometimes, I had a client, honestly, who talked about having body issues based off that stemmed from her mom. Like, her mom was like really like had a nice figure, and it played a part in her body image. But a lot of people don't talk about this topic either. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience with body images and self-esteem, because they definitely play a hand in one another?
Yeah, they do. I remember being super young, and I think in the basement, my dad had like this toolbox, and I remember going down there, and that was when Playboy was real big. And Playboy used to be like super skinny women and big old boobs. And I'm like, I remember looking at that. I'm just like, as a kid, like, obviously I don't look like that. And I don't know anybody that looks like that, honestly. But I saw how, like, I guess very young, like how sexualized that body type was. And then, like growing up so I'm about to be 30. So like when I was younger, like in the 90s, early 2000s, all like skinny was in. So like everybody loved skinny women, skinny, petite bodies. And anybody that was big was just like, they weren't beautiful. They weren't on the TVs. They weren't like, they were literally like, nobody would see them. You wouldn't see them on anything on the TV, on the news, like any type of social thing, magazines, anything that you saw was all like skinny, petite women. So when I got older, and like middle school is when like I got like my butt. I want to say like 7th grade, I started getting like a big old butt. And like everybody would be like the girls. So I think a lot of like self-esteem and like body issues don't, for me personally, didn't come from men. They came from women. And everybody was just like,
I think that's on both genders. I feel like body images and body issues that men experience come from men or males, and the same with from females. That's what it is.
exactly. So
They
like they
have
were
our
just,
body. Like it's comparison that.
and that's what it was. It was like a comparison. So like I'm like, everybody was like, you're so big. Or they would always ask me like, oh, what size pants do you wear? And I'm just like, I'm like, in your own body, I didn't feel like I was big. Like, and now looking back on it, I was never big when I was like in middle school. And I'm just like, they literally made me feel like I was just like huge. And I'm just like, there's no way that I ever felt big. And I look at myself so small, but like it was just that era of like that skinny was in, and bigger people couldn't be pretty, and like all these things. And then after I had my kids, like getting older, I had my kids, and your body changes and all these things. And I just remember being so unhappy with like my weight and the way that my body looked. And I just started like obsessing over it, whether it was like Because I told you with the addiction thing, like it's either going to be the super extreme or like just nothing at all. So like when I was started fixate on it, I wouldn't eat. And then I wasn't eating healthy. So like I didn't see myself losing any weight. I tried to work out and I tried all these things to lose weight and nothing was working. And it just finally came to a point of like, I might have lost a couple pounds and lost a couple pant sizes, and I still felt the same exact way I felt about my body, because it was never about my body. It was about what I was thinking inside of my mind. And once I was like, you know, like I accept myself for who I am, I stopped trying to lose weight, and like I focused on like trying to be healthy and eat healthier, like how when my mom, when we were kids, we ate super healthy. So I've always made like these healthy choices, but it's like I was so fixated on looking a certain way, thinking that if I looked that way, that I would be happy. Once I did that, it was like I thought that if I was this certain size all the time, that I would just be happy. And then I finally lost some weight and I still wasn't happy. I was still in that same negative mental space. And I see like a lot of women that get like plastic surgeries to fix all these things that they wanted to always fix, and they're in the same predicament. Like they'll say like, I'm still unhappy with myself, like I'm still unhappy with my body, it didn't fix anything, because it's literally everything, that all the stuff that we've been talking about this whole entire thing is comes back to self. Like it's all, everything is literally in your head. Like you are your own, you're your own answer to everything. Like God gave us that when he created us. Like you know within yourself what you should be doing. And it's like none of my body issues was ever with my body. It was always like a mental thing, and obviously like a health thing.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think a lot of people allow superficial things to determine what's going to make them happy. And I said this before, even people like, oh yeah, when I get a certain amount of money, and now if you look at the suicide rates, the richest people are the ones who commit suicide. And the fake, quote unquote, the ones who seem the most happiest are the ones who commit suicide. It's nothing that anything external is gonna, satisfy this need of whatever you're craving, to feel complete or whole. You have to do that work on self.
Exactly.
You have to. Um, but is there anything else that you feel like you want to add in regards to body image or self-esteem on those topics?
Just to love yourself and to get your mental right, whether you're a size 0, a size 20, it doesn't matter, as long as you're happy with yourself, and focus on not just mental health, but physical health as well. Instead of trying to always lose weight or look this certain way, thinking you're going to be happy at that size, just be healthy. Like, just make healthy choices mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, those quick fix, I'll say, things can play a part on your mental health. Like all of it is connected too. And I want to say that, like, mind, body, soul, mental, physical, spiritual, everything is connected. And when you're doing that, like, it can play a part or impact your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes your mental health can play a part in your physical health as well. So you just got to get it together. It's no one size fit all for any of these things when it comes to physical, when it comes to the mental health, especially in regards to body image. And you just got to do what works for you.
Exactly.
We can't be living our lives through the lens. We just can't. But you kind of already said something, loving yourself. That's really big. But is there any other message that you want to leave the audience with in regards to this topic?
No, just love yourself, whether you big, small, whatever insecurities. I thought that's what it was, insecurities. I think working on insecurities too is those affirmations, going back to affirmations and telling yourself. And if you keep on telling yourself these things, these positive things about you, will literally start believing it. And it'll start circling in your head, just like all the negative thoughts, just replace them with the positive thoughts.
Yeah, and that's why I included body image with self-esteem, because they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you work on your self-esteem, you wouldn't worry too much about your body image.
Exactly.
And once again, it all leads to self. Like, that's the answer. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your story and your experience, and once again being open and vulnerable.
And thank you.
Courage. Thanks. Body image, self-esteem. I feel like this is something that everybody experienced some point in their life too, especially with the transitions that we go through. I would say body image and self-esteem definitely comes up for all of us. So what has been your experience with body image, self-esteem?
Well, just throughout my transition, I was a little chocolate chunky baby, like when I was first born. Then when I got to then I got real skinny. Like I was a super skinny kid for majority of my life. I'll say from probably like 2 or 3 or something till I was like 11, 12. Then when I got to like 13, 14, I started to get chunky. And at that time, around that time, that's when I was in a mind frame of trying to impress girls. So me and my cousin, my right-hand man, we had like a little bet going on, like basically saying the first person to get a 6-pack or something. So at that point, that was when I really tried to like start going hard on like changing my body and all that stuff. I was getting into sports, so it was real easy to try to do it just because I wanted to play basketball so bad and we're training every day. I wanted to do track, so we was training. So like around 14, 15, when I really started diving into it heavy, I started to like structure my body like to a way that I wanted it to be and that I was happy and satisfied with, and then throughout high school, it was just getting better and better and better. Then when I got older and I got married and I felt like, okay, I got my wife, I got my kid, like shit. I ain't gotta do this no more. Like, fuck it, shit, she gonna love me forever. No, it just got to the point where it was like, I took my focus away from, trying to keep my body fit and stuff like that. But now today, I've been getting back into making sure I eat healthy, making sure I hit the gym, at least do 30 minutes to an hour in the gym. Just get in there and sweat your ass off. It don't matter what you're doing, just sweat. And, just try to burn calories and, just try to stay fit because of the simple fact of you don't want to be 35, 40, and you could barely get up the stairs, or you can't even run, you can't do this and do that. So, like my body image, I've always carried it with a sense of pride, just because I always want to look a certain way. But I will say, like, once I started getting to a newfound level of income, it was more so of I was focused on the money versus being focused on my body. And at that time, I was like, shit, I'm making more money than I ever seen in my life. So shit, accept my big ass how you accept me or not. but yeah, it was just like, I still had to show myself like, all right, okay, we're doing a little too much now. Calm down. Let's take care of ourselves. Like, I still love me. So,
So I'm going to say 14, 15, because I've had some clients to express like that they child, their son, and even my child, I'll say my son, he's 15, body image, boys. And you mentioned was it because of girls? Like, what was your thought process in 14, 15, like body image? Because I don't know, was it a for self, or like what was the emotions and how were you dealing with it?
So I'll say 70% it was girls. 30% it was because it's like, hey, I want to see myself. I want to look in the mirror and just be like, damn, okay, I like how my body is structured and stuff. But it was more so at that time. It was more so about girls just trying to impress. And I say that lasted maybe like a year. And then it's like, once I really started understanding, like, it doesn't matter how you really look, because just because I like myself a certain way, that doesn't mean everybody else does.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, think that, oh, you look better chunky, or you look better like this, or you look better like that. It got to the point where it was like, okay, I stopped thinking like that, and I'm like, what it is that you really like, Tyler? What do you want for yourself? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to view yourself? So I did get out of that mindset, but in the beginning, though, it definitely was because I was just trying to impress my girl.
Yeah. in that person, the girls like I don't really know because I don't really, when I think about, especially being younger, honestly, as far as like body image, it could have been looks in total, and I'm not a guy, so I don't really know what the mindset would be, or if there's any emotions. I know self-esteem, like, was there any comparison of like the bodies like to the other guys, or was it
Not
the
like
same part?
like some like I used to do when I was a kid. I also was a part of Jesse White tumbling team, like in Chicago. So we used to just go to different neighborhoods and different places and events and stuff, and just flip. And at that time, though, I was starting to get chunky, and I could still perform. That was not no issue, but it was just like, man, you know, I can ace my landings, or my flips and stuff could look more cleaner if, you know, I shave down some of this weight and stuff. And it was just like, I know I needed to do certain things for me to be able to get to the next level that I wanted to. And that's where I stopped thinking about, you know, trying to impress somebody else. And it's like, okay, how am I finna elevate in what it is that I like with basketball, with track, with all that stuff. So it was like I had to start buckling myself down, like, all right, okay, come on, let's really, really get on top of this, because I want this bad enough. And then I started realizing the more that I was chasing what it is that I wanted, like my dream as far as gymnastics or basketball or track or whatever, the body was just coming right along with it, because every day I'm practicing, every day I'm doing this. And then that's when I started to understand about eating habits and stuff, because I was a huge junk food head, like freaking love. Shout out to my auntie Selena. My auntie, she used to have this big ass cabinet, and she still got one today. Anytime you go to any of her house, she has a whole goddamn cabinet of any and every snack that you can possibly think of. And my auntie, for some reason, always had all these snacks, but was always just in great ass like physique condition. I'm like, damn, TT, like, what the fuck? But I used to just love, I was just a big ass snacking type of kid, but I had to realize, like, okay, we can't be eating all of this shit all of the time. You know, it's cool to eat it sometimes, but let's stay focused on what we're doing, you know. So I started realizing the more I stayed focused, the more everything else started to fall in line, no matter what. Whatever it is I was trying to do, you stay focused on the goal, everything else is going to fall in line. That's supposed to be, you know, so.
No, I agree. But is there anything else that you want to share to the audience in regards to body image or self-esteem? Because, once again, a lot of people have issues with their body image, which affects their self-esteem.
Do not do things to impress anyone, unless that person is yourself. If you want to look a certain way, don't be like how I was. Don't try to do this shit for no girls or for whatever the case may be. You know, do it for yourself, because you can damage your own self-esteem trying to be perfect for somebody else. And then when you get to that point, you realize that person still don't even accept you or whatever the case may be. Focus on you, and don't be ashamed. There's nothing wrong with being super, super skinny. There's nothing wrong. I mean, take care of your health, of course. But there's nothing wrong with being skinny. There's nothing wrong with being in shape. There's nothing wrong with being chunky or big or anything like that. Just, I always say, make sure your health is good, but love yourself. And if somebody don't love the way that you are, excuse the expression, fuck them. Find somebody else that will love you the way that you are. And if you want to be a certain way, do it for yourself. Don't do it just because of, oh, this person look like this, or I want to impress her or him. No, forget impressing people. Impress yourself, because you have to live with you no matter what.
Yeah, thank you. Body image, self-esteem, I feel like they go hand in hand. A lot of people have body images of different sizes. It doesn't even really matter, but I want to know about your experience with body issues or in self-esteem.
The journey, it actually started pretty young for me, because the images that I was put in front of were like, this is what it looks like to be a woman. If you don't have these things, no man is gonna want you. And it was like almost like putting these negative thoughts to like me to manipulate myself to get that way, not knowing that I'm 9. I don't need to be somebody's like prize for like, not relevant to a 9-year-old. And then it also, I developed really early. I developed at 9. Like I started my menstrual at 9. Like everything just blossomed at 9, and you can't take it back once it's going. And I realized that I had bigger breasts than all of my classmates, and that my body was a little bit more formed than most people. So I always looked older because my body was so advanced. And I remember like boys would like, you know, like say things and do stuff, and I always thought that was good attention. I always thought that was great. And then I realized that like nobody else looks like me. Nobody else. So it almost made me feel ashamed that I wasn't like, I'm wearing a D cup in the 6th grade. Like, not realizing that, hey, like, this isn't something to glorify. And that's what I started feeling. That's what I started doing. So I would tape my breast down with duct tape, or I would use saran wrap just to help look like my peers, because they're only picking me because of this thing. And I thought that like doing that would make them see that I'm smart. You can't see my body, so you gotta know I'm smart. And I didn't know what I was doing to myself. I didn't know that I was penalizing myself for being the way that I was created. You can't help the earth that rock. Like you can't. And so, like I said, it started young. And then even towards high school, I noticed that all the girls then were like flashing and flaunting. And I was like, I thought I was supposed to be ashamed. Like, I thought I was I'm so confused. Like, I don't know what to do. So then when I would ask my mom about stuff, it was, you know, no, me and my mom to talk about that. Just, you know, don't too late. Like, and I'm like, that's not helping me. That's not getting the answer. And then I remember us having an actual transparent conversation, and she was putting on makeup, and I was like, oh, Mom, let me put on some makeup. Let me see. And she was like, no, it's war paint. I was like, okay, we battling? What's going on? She was like, no, only ugly people put on makeup. And I was like, no, some of the most beautiful people in the world wear makeup. They wouldn't be actresses and stars. And she was like, no, they're covering up their scars. They're covering up some of, you know, the things that they're burdened with. And when we talked more about it, it was a metaphor, not necessarily a thing. But for me, it stuck with me because then I never wore makeup. I never... I might put on some mascara, but leave it at that. And it was like, okay, well, you see that you're beautiful. You see all these things. And then it turned different. A new age hit, and then my body changed again after childbirth. It was after, I didn't realize I had postpartum depression too, so that was part of it. But I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I felt. I hated the way I felt because of the way I looked. I always thought that there was something wrong with me. Always something like... I would go in places and people are staring at me, and I'm like, why though? Like, what is it about me that's making you stare or look at me or notice that I'm different? And I always thought different was bad. I always thought different was, like, you push that to the side. You keep all the things that look alike the same. And I remember definitely when we go out of town, I get it a lot more, and I'm like, it would make me self-conscious. It would make me be like, okay, let me modify myself more to look like my friends who are not getting the same, you know, the viewpoints. And then it also goes back a little bit further for me. I used to get made fun of because of my teeth. I used to get made fun of because of like my forehead. Things that I could not control were things that people were you know, like saying and doing. And then I was like, you know what? Like, you wish you had hair like this with the forehead underneath. Like I used to start, you know, just kind of motivating myself through those moments. But again, like being out of town, and like I said, I asked someone, I was like, why are you staring at me? Like, why? I'm just curious. I was like, no disrespect. Like, I'm he was like, you don't look like you from around here. You look so, he was like, you look sought after. Like, you look like I want to talk to you, but I can't talk to you because you already got a man, or you probably like are in my league. And I was like, I'm pretty basic, baby. I'm not. He was like, no, you stand out like a good smell, like a great smell. Like you're searching for it. You're searching for this thing to be like that, and that stuck with me. I was like, okay, well, if somebody else that I don't know in a whole different city is saying this thing about me, how come I can't see that?
Yeah.
How come I don't know that? How come I'm not doing the thing that other people are seeing as being this thing, as pretty? And so that's when I was like, you know what? If I'm 300 pounds, I'm still going to be me on the inside. If I'm 9,000 pounds or if I'm 20 pounds, like the weight does not change the person that I am.
Yeah.
It just gives somebody something different to look at.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to be happy with the weight if I'm healthy. My weight and health are two different things. And if I am healthy, whatever weight I am at, I'll be okay with that. And that, again, that was like after childbirth. And I was like, you know what? Like my breasts have changed and like my hair was coming out and I was doing all these things. Like I would, before I put my Sister-Locks in, I would get like sewn every 3 months and like nobody's ever gonna see my hair because I can cover up like my forehead and doing all these modifications when in reality, like people are paying for the same thing you have naturally.
Yeah.
And my grandfather is the one who told me that. And actually it was probably a couple months before he ended up getting like really sick and passed. And he was like, there's a star in the sky for every person. And yours is right by Orion's belt. And I was like, you know, that is. Okay, cool. He must be on something. And I just figured he heard it from a movie or something like that. But he was like, no, there's a star in the sky for every person that God has created, which is why there are a billion stars. And he was like, have you ever looked up and seen yours? I was like, no, they all look the same. And he was like, have you looked for the brightest? So I was like, oh. I was like, I thought that was the North Star. And he was like, no, there's usually more than one star that's going to be bright depending on where you are standing. And he was like, that's the one God made for you because only you can see you. So like, see you.
Yeah, I love that.
It made me put my shoulders back a little bit more. It gave me this inner confidence to know that like, I'm created for like, there's a reason I look this way, that I am this way. Because there's things that I can fix, but there's things that I can't fix, and things that I was created to not be able to fix. Because then you're fitting into this jigsaw puzzle of society that it's not even meant for you in the first place. So like,
definitely not. And it's look, more than skin deep. It's who you are. And that's another thing. Like when the guy was saying that you were talking about, a lot of people don't like to talk about energy because a lot of stuff is just trending, but people can feel and sense good energy, a good person. Like people, you know, and some people don't like it. Some people are intimidated by it, and some people will gravitate towards it, you know. But your character, the energy, your soul, like that, it will speak louder than anything that's on the outside, you know? And I think that goes a long way. Like we get so caught up, and I don't know, we get so caught up in this outside world, this flesh, and I'm gonna connect it. So I've been hearing it a lot, and now it really makes sense to me. Like when they say like we're just, you know, a spirit having this human experience. We're a spirit having this human experience, and so many people get caught up in the flesh and not even thinking and working on that soul or spirit that's going to follow you and stay with you. Like this outside, it's just what it's a vessel. But that inside, your spirit, the type of person you are at a core, be there. You can't run from it at all. Because think about it. People who are 90, their bodies have changed greatly in 90 years, but they're still the same person. But even like you just said, in your 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Body has changed. Yeah. From birth to now, like even me just thinking about, you know, from birth to like, and like you saying, like, 4th grade, because around that time too, that's when my body and it was different. Just a different experience. Like when you were talking about it, I was like, I love hearing different people's perspectives because that's what this is about. Because, you know, I'm originally from Arkansas, and then my mom moved us here. And when she moved us here, my aunt, I remember my auntie all the time. She was like, these people stare so much. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, they're only staring because we're not from here. So already in the 4th grade, that's my concept. Like, and then already too, they're like, oh, you know, I always say pencil, say pinata, say this, say that. You know? And then I'm in speech. So I'm like, oh, okay. So even when I started, I was like you know, very much so similar, like developed early. In the 4th grade, I already had everything I was going to have all the way until I got pregnant with my child. Bam. My height, everything. I maxed out just 5 feet. I'm one of the tallest. Look, and then I'm like, dang, everybody passed me now. Yeah. In the 4th grade, I was killing the game. 4th, 5th grade, 6th grade, yeah.
I'm in the 20% now.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, it's really it's within self. It's within you. That's what you really have. That's the most important thing.
but I think that it's also like when you reflect on yourself or look in the mirror, if you do not like what you see, there's something going on with somebody else has told you something. That's why you don't like what you see. It's not ever because that don't look right. It's never our own selves telling us this thing is bad. It's somebody else bringing out a flaw.
It definitely is.
So like, if that is what you're hearing, think about why they probably said it, to diminish you, to knock you off your game, to because they want what you have. And I always
It
is. I never knew that was the thing.
Yeah, and then a lot of us, because they're trying to, like I said, they're intimidated by really what's inside.
Yes.
Because now it makes me think of 2 Cents. I should check that. But it makes me think about 2 things. It's the cliche, yeah. Everything that glitters isn't gold. And it just makes me think about the apple. Like, it looks good on the inside, but it's rotten on the, on the outside it looks good, but on the inside it's rotten. And that's how a lot of people are. You got to start from that inside. And a lot of people are splashing on this glitter.
Yeah.
Trying to pretend to be gold, and actually, if you really just dust yourself off and let go of that stuff, you already go. You know what I'm saying?
You've been muffling and muttering.
Yeah. And I had a new client. I'm like, man, it feels so good helping people because when I started really embracing my authentic self and just creating that space to be me, I feel like I see it changing some of my clients really, really early on. And I had an appointment with one of my newer clients. Like, we've seen each other like 3 or 4 times, and we were just talking about, being your authentic self and just being true to you. And I was telling her how I do a word a year, and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna do authentic. I said, yeah, that's a great word. Because when I first started my journey with one word, that was my first word I did. And she was like, yeah, because I'm so tired of living my life in the lens of others. And that's what a lot of people are. We're living our lives through the lens of what we've experienced. Those comments, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, you have a big forehead, so when you take those lenses off and start to really see you for you and be who you want to be and embrace that,
girl, you unstoppable.
Yes.
Become the threat that they thought you was gonna be.
But they already knew you was gonna be, and they was trying to hold you back.
Again, intimidation can rob the holder itself.
And all they have to do is focus on self. Like, you can be what you want to be. Like, you don't have to bring me down to you
don't have to literally stop on a smaller like that. That's one thing that I didn't learn. Like, I was like, where was this at 20 years ago when I could use the things that I've learned since then? But it's like, no, like,
that was your journey that you were meant to, and now you're doing it for your kids, and you get to.
My daughter loves my hair. Like, I never loved my hair. I hated my hair because it was coarse and it was like really thick, and no one ever told me that having thick hair is actually a good thing.
Yeah,
they always made it sound like it's a bad thing. Like, your hair too thick and it's gonna take off. And like all these things that you made me think that they were bad. In reality, people plan for hair replacements to take
exactly
to have what I have naturally.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? Let me just, again, being authentic self is me installing my sister locks. And I was so scared at first because I was like, dang, if it don't work, I guess I'm going bald because I'm gonna have to do something. And then it was the installation. I saw other people's journey too, but it wasn't so much seeing their journey, but seeing them. Yeah. Like, you're not, you got a little glow to you.
Yeah.
Something has changed.
Yeah.
If all these people with this hairstyle are doing that, is it the hairstyle or is it them or is it the discovery of them through this hairstyle? Because again, there's no products in my hair. There's nothing in my hair to keep it this way. It's just retying it. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. And I'm gonna see what happens. And I've never been more confident in my life.
That's it. That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Even my daughter is like, Mommy, can I play your hair? Can I have those? I was like, yeah, I've been trying to get them, but it's expensive. You gotta wait. But like, I just feel like for her to see me love me, it's gonna take her early.
That's what I tell everybody. Embody the behavior, or I'll just say embody what you want your kids to see and be. And what I want them to be themselves. That's why I'm gonna be myself.
I have to be at this point. Like, I've been hiding myself from myself for so long. I owe it to me because I don't get tomorrow. What if tomorrow never shows up?
Exactly.
Let me do the best with today. Today I have an advantage.
I love it. I love it. Is there a message you want to leave to the audience in regards to body image or just self-esteem in general?
I believe that the word self-esteem itself has a lot of power in it. The self, and esteem usually means to push forward or bring out. And only you can be the best you ever. No matter what someone else has said or thought about you, if you don't think that stuff of you, it don't have no power. It don't go nowhere if you don't.
Yes.
And for me, that was probably one of the greatest things that I captured. Like, no one can change me but me. So no one also can diminish me but me.
Yes.
So let me support myself. Let me do all the things that I put out for other people. Let me put all that energy into me and really embrace me. Like, love me. I used to hate my name. I used to because it was too hard to say. And all these things. And I was like, no, now I correct people when you say it wrong.
Yes.
Now I'm intentional about how I perceive me.
I love it. Yes, I do. And you know what? I'm gonna say too, when I was younger too, I did not like my name. And the only reason I didn't, it was Sierra everywhere. But when I was younger though, I was the only Sierra spelled my way. And then the senior came out Sierra. But I was like, Sierra, Brittany, you know what I'm saying?
The norm.
Sierra, Brittany, Ashley. And then I'm like, I love Sierra. I love the letter C. I'm like, when you start I just love everything about me.
Simple.
Yes.
Only even your name.
Yes.
I used to be like, no, or even my class would correct people if they said my name wrong. We're like, no, it's Tracina.
Yeah.
Or like, and I never realized that my name, what it meant. And I was just like, they would say like Tracy and other.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I was like, okay, let me do a little research. My dad didn't name me for the month before he died. So my name was already engraved and my mom stuck with it. And for, like I said, for a minute, I used to hate it. And then it got to a point where I was like, I ain't never heard my name before.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen my name before.
Yes.
I ain't never. There's something about
and you see the different perspectives. Like, you had a unique, one of a kind, like, name that nobody really had. And then I had a name that everybody had. And we both was like, I want a unique name. I'm like, I just love Sierra. It's me. I can't run from me. You know what I'm saying? This is the name that I was given. And a lot of people go through their journey, they change their name. But I'm like, I love Sierra. I love me. Like, God, what me is this? Yeah. And how dare I diminish this thing? Yeah, it was a reason why you were given this name. But I don't know. Do whatever you need to do. Go on your own journey as far as name, because I do know people who change their names and things like that. But that's for you. Yeah. Everybody has their own thing, but make it be because of you and what's something for you. Nothing external, nothing to do with I don't like this name because of this. Make sure that it's from within you and nothing external. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing and being open and honest and vulnerable with us. I really appreciate it.
It's been fun.
Really. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to thank my guests for their honesty, their vulnerability, and their willingness to share their stories today. Talking about body image and self-esteem isn't just about appearances. It's about years of conditioning, years of comparison, years of feeling like you're not enough. But today's conversation is proof that we don't have to stay in that place. And if there's one thing I've learned on my own journey, it's this. Being authentic isn't about following rules or rejecting things just because they don't fit the authentic definition. That's why I don't like labels, because labels, it just, authentic is you. It's about doing what feels right for you. And that's the theme for this whole entire season. How you deal with grief is you. How you deal with body image is you. How you deal with healing from sexual abuse, it's you. How you show up in relationships, it's you. How you deal with the family you've been dealt with, or the hand you've been dealt, I'll say, whatever, the family you've been born into. How you respond and react to them, it's you. How you love yourself, it's you. Everything leads back to you. So do it your way. For me, when I look good, I feel good. Okay, that's just me. I love clothes. I love putting together looks. That's just me. I just love it. It's a passion of mine. I like changing my hair. I like doing different colors. Not a lot of colors. I'm not like green. I have done, you know what I'm saying? But I like to do whatever I want to do. If I feel like it, that's what I'm going to do. I like to wear, I'm not going to say weird print, but I wear zebra, I wear lime green, I wear hot pink, I like to wear bold things because I feel like sometimes when people get to know me, it may not seem like it. I'm very, very much, I'll say I'm very much so reserved. But I have a bold personality, a big, bold personality. I'm unapologetically myself all the time, even if it don't seem like it to you. But that's just my truth. I still haven't got my nails done, but maybe one day I will. I started small, I'll say end of the year, maybe, December when I went to Boston with my sister. I got a sew in, and now I'm back in a wig with lashes because I like it. And sometimes I don't have on lashes, sometimes I do. Yeah. Whatever floats my boat in the morning, honestly. However I'm feeling, that's how I'm gonna show up. And yeah, sometimes I feel like, girl, yeah, go ahead and do something, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm like, hey, whatever, you know? And I'll be outside. Every day I go outside because I feel like it's good for my mental health. So yeah, I just show up as me. And who I am isn't defined by how I wear my hair, whether I have on makeup or not, if I have my nails done or not. Who I am is just me. And the same goes for you. There shouldn't be a standard for beauty because beauty is more than skin deep. We know that. We hear it. It's about how you show up, not just for yourself, but for others. So do what you like. Look the way you want. Today a wig, tomorrow a braid, maybe a ponytail, whatever it is. Just do it. And I'm gonna say my clients, they know. I got a lot of clients. And honestly, my clients and my interns, I have interns, they never know what I'm gonna look like when I get on that screen, honestly. I just show up as who I am. But I'm gonna say what they do know. They know that every time I get on that screen, I'm gonna be me. And I'm gonna be there giving them the best advice, the best guidance that they can in their life. Because no matter what's on the outside, I'm always myself. We get caught up in the external. I don't know why we do. Society has made us be that way. But what's for me is for me. What's for you is for you. Do what makes you feel good. Don't let nobody make you feel like you have to fit their definition of beauty. Because at the end of the day, I love me. The people who love me, I love them. I don't care about how anybody looks. I care about how you show up for yourself. Because I know that's how you'll show up for me. When I meet new people, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me just say, when I meet new people, I want to see how they show up for themselves. I want to see how they talk to themselves. I want to see how they love themselves because wherever you're at in life, the capacity you show up for yourself is the capacity you have for me. So that's what I care about. I care about how you show up for yourself. So challenge the voice in your head. If you wouldn't say it to someone you love, why say it to yourself? Rewrite the script, okay? Think about where your insecurities come from. Were they really yours, or were they things you've observed from society, family, or old wounds that never healed? Men, your struggles with body image are real too. You don't have to shrink your pain to fit society's expectations. Your confidence matters just as much. Women, your body has been compared and critiqued since childhood, but it is yours. It carries you. It supports you, and it deserves love, not judgment. Social media is not real life. I'll say filters, edits, angles, they all create illusions. Protect your peace. Unfollow anything that makes you feel less than. Your value is not up for debate. You are more than your appearance, more than your size, more than the features the world told you to change. Oh, y'all. I just want y'all to love y'all selves. That's it. But This topic reminds me of a song. Y'all know I love me some India Irie, brown skin, okay? And I played it before. We're going to play it again. I'm going to keep playing me some India Irie every season. But
brown skin, you know I love your brown skin. I can't tell.
The song Brown Skin is a reminder that beauty is I'll say beauty is authentic. That real self-love is about seeing yourself fully without comparing, without shame, just love. If you can take anything from today's episode, any episode that I'm going to do this season, love yourself. Do what works for you. Forget what the world says is for you. Forget what anybody thinks. Do what works for you. If you like that shirt, get that shirt. If you don't want to wear what you know what I'm saying, do whatever works for you. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm just passionate. Okay. I'm passionate about this because it really impacts, like, your self-esteem shows up in depression. It shows up in a lot of these other I'll say other topics that we're discussing. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. If you want to wear makeup, wear makeup. If you want to wear red lipstick, wear red lipstick. If you want to wear black, if you want to, whatever you want to do for you, do it. But thank you for tuning in and being a part of this conversation. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who might need the reminder that they are worthy exactly as they are. Until next time, be kind to your reflection, be kind to your body, and keep creating a life you don't want to escape, inside and out. Bye.
Brown skin, you know I love your brown